Let me tell y'all a story about something called the slave patrols. Back in the days of slavery, there were these groups of men who rode on horseback at night. They carried whips, guns, and chains, and their job was to catch any enslaved person trying to escape. They didn't just hunt people down, they'd go into the cabins where families lived, breaking down doors, searching for anything that seemed suspicious. A book was enough to get someone punished because enslaved people weren't allowed to read. When the Civil War ended, slavery was outlawed, but freedom didn't come easy. After that, the South came up with something called the Black Codes. These were laws made to control black people and keep them working under conditions that were just like slavery. You couldn't own land, couldn't vote, and if you didn't have a job working for white folks, they'd arrest you. Once they threw you in jail, you'd be forced to work for free. Sound familiar? Then, when the Black Codes were struck down, they didn't stop there. They made Jim Crow laws. Those laws said black people and white people couldn't use the same schools, restaurants, bathrooms, or even water fountains. Everything was separate but equal, but it was never equal. Black schools barely had books, and the buildings were falling apart while white schools had the best of everything. Grandma says Jim Crow lasted for almost 100 years. It wasn't just laws, it was a way to make sure black people felt like they weren't good enough, like they didn't belong. But guess what? Our people didn't just sit there and take it. They marched, they protested, they fought back. That's how we got the civil rights movement. So, when you hear about freedom today, you gotta understand that it didn't come easy. Slave patrols, black codes, Jim Crow, they all tried to keep us down, but they couldn't break us. We're still here, and we're still rising. And now, it's up to us to keep fighting, to keep telling these stories, so no one forgets.